Yeah, this is, I jotted down some notes. I did not plan to speak tonight. So, no props. I was very sorry to hear that. No, not even an iPhone? Nothing? So, I'll be using a Greek technique of memorization called places, where you imagine you're walking through your house, you're in your kitchen, your living room, and you're imagining, you're associating. So associating parts of the story with a place in the house. So if I start talking about my dryer or dishwasher, please stop me and get me back on the story. I had a very wild experience in a very wild place some years ago, the Caribbean. Land of smugglers, drug dealers, ne'er-do-wells, pirates even today. And I was there in the Caribbean. I just went there, and what I was doing there, if I may say so, I was a math teacher. Yeah, it's very dangerous. So I'd like to share the story of how I ended up in the Caribbean teaching math. Now you just go to the internet, become a math teacher on the Caribbean.com. This was a little bit pre-internet, I'll be quite frank about that, 4 years ago or something. So basically I got the gig there because I could take good phone messages. Let me explain. I was living in a house in West Philadelphia, one of these beautiful Victorian group houses, a little bit dilapidated, but still has some of the old fixtures, probably stolen now. And one of the housemates was actually from the Caribbean, as you might figure. And I went back one evening, and her mother was visiting her, who happened to be a principal of the school in the Caribbean. And when I walked in the room to say hi, she jumped up and said, "Mr. Marcus, thank you so much for taking such good phone messages for my daughter." And thank you, why are you in town? We needed a math teacher. It was actually August, I should mention. And they needed a math teacher for the fall, and she was searching. So a little light bulb goes off over my head, not visible, fortunately. And I said, "Oh, I'm a math teacher." I wasn't a math teacher. I didn't even like math. I wasn't very good at math. I did a little bit of math. But I figured, my uncle had been in the numbers racket. That's close enough. So I said, what the heck, So I said, I can do that. Well, we'll need your transcripts, and fine. They never got them. But her one thing was, school starts in 1 week. Okay, I can leave my whole life in West Philadelphia, my friends, my comfort level, in 1 week. Well, I should mention I was having a little trouble at that point with my girlfriend. Not serious, but, So a chance to go to an island in the Caribbean at that moment seemed very, very good. So I said, yes, I'll do it. And instantly regretted it. Because I'm leaving everything, I was very depressed. What am I doing? I'm not sure if it's still around. A place called Fiesta Pizza on Baltimore. That was my place. I went there for years in West Philadelphia. I never, ever said, talk to the guy doing the order. Just gave him the order. And this 1 week, when I'm about to leave, I walk in. I'd like a Stromboli. He goes, "Oh, thank you. How are you doing?" I didn't want to leave. So all of a sudden, the place is my little town, So, okay. But anyway, I did take the Big Bird to the Caribbean. Ended up in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, a little street called Garden Street, and I had a room in a guest house set up for me across the street from the school. And the first night, I meet my landlady, Mrs. Sandine, Mrs. Blanca Sandine. She actually had been the landlady for the Mamas and the Papas at one time, always complaining about Michelle. Anyway, I walked in the room, and there were the books for me to teach math. Not being a math teacher, not liking math, I had to think of an approach. I had to save myself. What am I going to do? I'm teaching middle school, 5th, 6th, and 7th grades. And I thought my approach will be, I'll teach the history of math, the origins of math, how it developed, math as a language, and how the Greeks had measured the distance from the Earth to the Moon by triangulation. It's all true. And the Greeks, unfortunately, couldn't use the information because they had no space program. They had not developed rocketry. They were using very powerful catapults, but never quite did the trick. That came later, as we all know, in our lifetimes. So anyway, that was it. I just developed the technique. And first night there, I took a little walk down Garden Street, and it was very mysterious, very magical, very Caribbean, what do you want, you know? And a guy says, "You want some sensei?" Which I think might have been drugs. I'm not sure. But the next day I'm in front of these beautiful 5th graders, and I'm explaining the history of math, how it began, how it started with measurement, and how numbers were needed, and how there are 10, a base 10 numbering system. And their eyes were as big as saucers, you know, and I thought, they're riveted. This is working. I found out 6 months later, they had no idea what I was talking about. So that was my experience, and it was interesting, it was fun, and the one little button on the story is, I'm not sure how many students I influenced to love math. I tried. One of my students was interested in acting and became interested somewhat by the course, and ended up being an extra in the movie Beautiful Mind. So, true story. So thank you very much.